I recently booted up Overwatch for the first time in a while. I used to play very frequently, but after the first 2 years, I faded away a bit to focus on school and my other personal projects. At the time, I remember being very frustrated, like many other people, with the meta, my rank, and the overall flow of the game. When I returned to the game a few nights ago to play with some friends, I was very surprised with some of the changes that had been made to the game while I was gone. Most of these changes were minor and very needed, such as the nerf to the damage reduction given from armor, and changes to the way the health stacks. However, there was one change that, at first, I just could not understand. After some thinking, I have come to realize what Blizzard is really doing. This change is the new Reaper buff, giving him 50% lifesteal rather than his previous 30%. Since this change, I have heard nothing but hatred for the hero, and from what I have played so far, he seems like a must-pick for most maps and compositions. However, despite this, I believe that the change is for the better. Let me explain myself. Firstly, this isn't the first time a hero has been ridiculously powerful. In fact, most characters have had their spotlight. Sometimes, Blizzard admits that they were wrong and are willing to revert an overpowered buff. However, there have been many heroes that were once overpowered and, without being changed at all, simply became balanced. This can be partially attributed to other characters being buffed to accommodate for powerful heroes. For example, when Brigitte hit the live servers, many people stopped playing Tracer because they knew that every time you tried to harass the enemy team, there was a high chance that you would be met with a shield to the face and an instant kill combo. In that particular time in the meta, Tracer did not change at all, yet you fell out of play. Another reason that heroes can get away with high impact buffs is that players simply learn to adapt. Think about the Overwatch open beta, for instance. The most overpowered things then were simply things that the players just did not understand yet. When a McCree shouted, "It's high noon," no one did anything because they didn't know the impact that it had on the game. Similarly, I think people will come to see that the Reaper change is not simply overpowered, but instead a new layer to Overwatch. I would even argue that the strength of Reaper is healthy for the overall flow of Overwatch. The new Reaper has a very prominent advantage when it comes to 1v1s against tanks. The amount of health that Reaper can regen with his lifesteal is able to sustain him nearly indefinitely against the tank roster's low damage output. I have personally witnessed this, as Winston is one of my most played heroes. In the past, there was always a decent chance that I could outplay Reaper if I really concentrated on efficiently shield dancing and basically stalling him until I can deal enough damage for him to either die or back off. However, now it would be very foolish for me to even try fighting a Reaper. If he gets even one shot off on me, I am guaranteed to lose because his health regen from that one shot would cause me to stay nearly 2 seconds longer to get a kill, which buys him more time to get more shots and even more health regen. But why on earth do I think this is good for Overwatch? I mean, this just makes the game less fun for me, right? Wrong, and here's why. You see, Overwatch has become a more and more complex game as time passes. There are so many decisions that players have to make every second in order to build towards a win. However, the problem with Overwatch in the past was that there was a lack of haptic feedback on these decisions. I could always dive a soldier as Winston, but was that really the best decision? Should I have tried to kill their Mercy instead? Or maybe I should have protected my own supports? No one ever really knows what the right decision was. In fact, there are entire channels dedicated to reviewing VODs in order to help people piece together this puzzle. In buffing Reaper, Blizzard is helping to address this problem and give players a way to learn the game a little bit faster. Now, if a Winston dives a Reaper, something that is pretty widely accepted as a mistake, they will die 90% of the time, as they should. There is no more thought in the head of tank players saying, well, maybe I could win this one. Overwatch is moving towards a game where players make decisions that have a very specific and identifiable impact on the game. Although these changes can feel unfair at times, I would honestly rather have the game tell me, that was a stupid play, do better next time, than, you lose, figure out a way to get better. So yeah, I think Overwatch is moving in a better direction, and I hope it can continue to do so that we can all feel like we at least understand the game even if we lose. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you agree or disagree with this idea, please leave a comment and tell me what your opinions on the new changes are.